avenue there. The PBC has an avenue there. They just got to capitalize on it. I think the fight sells outside of the ring just as good as they will do it in the ring.
Yeah. There you go.
I make
Good
fights.
job, man.
That's what I do. They don't listen, but I try.
You try.
That's all I can do.
WBC welterweight champion Danny Garcia takes on Andre Berto. It looks like it's a go for September 24th. Although the fight has not been announced officially yet, all fingers. All fingers. Did you write this yourself? All fingers are pointing that Garcia will be defending his title on September 24th against former WBC champion Andre Berto. Berto is ranked number 2 by the WBC. Amir Khan is ranked number 1.
Right.
But after his devastating loss to Saul Alvarez, Khan is starting to think MMA is the place for him. Are you serious? I haven't read that story.
Amir Khan has started training for the MMA and says he wants McGregor in 6 months.
Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. IBF Junior, they're looking at IBF Junior middleweight champion Jermall Charlo to defend his title against Julian J. Rock Williams on the undercard.
Yeah. The undercard looks more interesting than the main event. Like, are you shitting me right now? Andre Berto is going to get another title shot? Like, is this like the Black Rocky Juarez? What is going on here? How many title shots has Andre Berto had, Lee, in his career? I have no idea why. He has only the win against Victor Ortiz, who was not active the time he fought Berto. So just another cherry-picked fighter for Danny Garcia, setting up Danny Garcia to look good against a nobody and probably get beat when he fights an elite fighter. That's the PBC way right now. I'm telling you this. A lot of their guys that they've been shelving, that they've been protecting, have not been showing up in their huge fights. Get a clue.
I agree. I completely and utterly agree. HBO announces Jesus Soto Caras, Andrew's favorite fighter, taking on Yoshiro Kamagagi, part 2 for September the 10th. How many people did this first fight draw? Like, nobody watched it, Andrew. I realize it was
You're right.
It was a really good fight.
You're absolutely right.
But nobody fucking knows these people.
No, but read why.
All right. HBO executive Peter Nelson came out this week and informed boxing fans that the rematch between Caras and Yoshiro will be aired on the network. The first fight was candidate for Fight of the Year. This I know, as well as everybody else. It will be the co-main event to Roman Chocolito Gonzalez. Chococolito. I don't ever think I get enough of the Cocos in the middle. It's like Chocolate Cocolito Gonzalez. And Carlos Cuadras. What, some dude stepping up in Arizona? Weight. Okay. HBO decided to air the fight after fans hit social media upset that the fight would not be live on TV.
Hey, so point for the fans there, Lee.
The fans, you know what? The fans also believe that the PBC is a good thing. So, you know what? And I say this to all of you listening to the show. You guys don't really know shit about boxing. You really don't.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, Caras and Kamagai are very thankful they're on HBO now. Their checks just increased. So it was a Fight of the Year, Lee. It's a international Mickey Ward Arturo Gatti. That's what that first fight was.
I'm coming up on the last story, Andrew, and I think you've missed the biggest story that's out there. But we'll get to it in a minute. PBC announces Daniel Jacobs versus Sergio Mora 2.
You see what I'm talking about?
First of all, does this mean that the Latin Snake is signed with the PBC?
Yeah, but it's like only when they need him. They're not really like building his career.
But is he like a professional wrestler jobber who just shows up from the city to get beat up by somebody?
Yeah, I think he's just like a fill-in guy.
Well, they use in pro wrestling. They call that an enhancement talent. He's there to make Daniel Jacobs look good. For those of you who don't know, Sergio Mora is the fine gentleman who won season 1 of
decades
Sugar Ray
ago.
Leonard's TV show from it's more than that, 10 years ago, called The Contender.
Won
By
a
his own
title for
admission,
like 4 months.
by his own admission, Sergio has no punching power. He's a pretty decent power puncher, but he fights this really weird punches of bunches and bad angles. I know all about Sergio. Like, I'm obsessed with Sergio Mora. How is he still around? Is the part
I
that
mean,
kills me.
the PBC is.
I really didn't even think he was around anymore.
He's not. Lee, the last fight he had was Danny Jacobs like a year or
that's
two
like
ago.
saying no. That's like saying what's his name over at Showtime doesn't fight anymore either. Malinaji.
He fought this
Malinaji's
weekend.
still technically around.
Yeah. No, Sergio Mora got the fight out of nowhere the first time. It was an exciting 2 rounds. Both guys went down, but Jacobs dropped Mora in the second. Mora twisted his ankle, couldn't continue. That's a TKO for Jacobs. Jacobs goes on to have the biggest fight of his life against Peter Cullen, knocks him out in 1 round. So, I mean, Lee, we're on top of the world right now. He just beat an undefeated Peter Cullen, the dark horse of the middleweight division. What do? They rewind it 2 fights back and go back to Sergio Mora. It's beyond me. I don't know, Danny Jacobs. This fight's going to be in Reading, Pennsylvania, in an arena that only holds 7,000 people.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It's retarded. It is a TV fight. That's all this is. This is to fill some date on TV that you have, but you really don't have an opponent for your champ. Come on, this guy's hot. How are you going to make one of the hottest fighters in the division fight someone who's not even active?
For those of you who have social media, go to Facebook, type in Showtime, and you can watch the post-fight conference with Santa Cruz and Carl Front. Didn't we have this debate on the air? Like, you don't need to go to fights anymore. You don't need to get interviews anymore.
No, you don't.
Like, you don't need to do shit. You can do writing and commentating and whatever from the comfort of your chair and get as fat as you want, like one boxing writer does quite well. Quite well. He is so fat that it's ridiculous. I'm not even going to say his name today. Is that growth on my part?
And I'm telling you right now, I think that's how boxing sort of put some of these media members in line, is a simple fact that they really don't need you guys or us anymore.
They don't need us there. And I'm fine with it. I mean, the only reason I go is, I'm quite honest, the reason I go is because I like to go watch
live fights. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you get some inside knowledge or whatever. You get some rumors coming at being there live, being in the media room. Oh, yeah,
no, look, and I admit it. And the fights that I tend to go to are real promoters, but I like going to the smaller cards because I can hear shit about other fighters while I'm there, and I can talk to other fighters. If you go to I don't think people get the wrong impression of like a big night in Vegas at a fight. Here is exactly what it's like. Okay? No joke, no BS, no hype. You are put into 2 categories as a writer. There are those who get to sit in a chair in a corner under a rock, and then there are those who get to sit at a table. The ones who get to sit at a table are all with major media outlets, period. Okay? Everybody else sits in a chair. You get a lanyard. Sometimes it has your picture. Sometimes it doesn't. It looks like a freaking chest plate. It's ridiculous. You hang the lanyard and you walk around. You sometimes get fed. Sometimes you don't get fed. The boxing writers all sit around in a back room round tables and talk shit about stories they think are happening, are not happening. Then we all go watch the fights. Then we all sit around in a back room and we wait to watch a press conference. We try to grab some sound clips and then we are done. That is what a fight in Vegas looks like. It is not glamorous. It's not what you think it is. I enjoy watching fights with other...
Lee, hold on, though.
Watching a fight with writers is not
Every
bad.
once in a while, we have the Super Bowl. You got to throw that in there.
No, but the truth is, watching fights with writers is a
Mayweather versus Berto, not the Super Bowl. Mayweather versus Hatton or De La Hoya, those fights were awesome. Those cards were awesome. Everything. I mean, there's so much money involved in some of these big fights, Lee. There's nothing they can do but deliver for the media members because everybody makes the thing turn. The point I'm trying to make, if you don't play ball, they don't really need you anymore. So
no,
a
we
lot
don't.
of these
You
writers are
don't.
playing
Period.
ball
Like you don't.
nowadays.
Everything, everything, everything except the fight, and even the fight, more or less. Like if there's a big knockdown, come on, Lennox Lewis is going to post on his Facebook, you know,
Yeah.
a live stream of his TV on Facebook. It
Yeah,
happens.
no, I
So
don't know.
you got guys like Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis sitting ringside in better seats than you and I will ever get. Even better than the writers' table, right? They're sitting front row, pretty, and they put up their camera and they hit Facebook Live and put up the knockout or 30 minutes of the fight. This is happening all the time. Like this is a real thing. Social media has impacted everything on that level. And when I don't need to be in Brooklyn. I can look at so and so from whatever media source or whoever I follow on Facebook because I run it like a news feed, and I can see a pan shot. I'll give you an example. I did the pan shot of the Mayweather thing in Vegas not too long ago, right? Where I shot a picture of the entire room. That got a lot of people looking at it. Who looked at it? Probably boxing writers, because they always want to know about that stuff. It isn't what happens one or two fights before the main event. We all know that they will go grab bodies and they will fill seats if they have to. They will fill a room before a main event. They always do. I have not seen a fight where they haven't magically filled the room before the main event. It's like a magic power. But when you like are supposed to arrive at 7 and your first fight goes off at 7:30 and your main event's not till 9:30, 2 hours of an empty room is that's paying customers. That's the real paying customers. And that group is staggeringly small. Staggeringly small at most of these fights. That's the truth. Nobody pays to go to fights anymore. They're almost all comps. Nobody wants to pay for this shit. It's horrible.
I mean, for
That's
little
my
fights, I totally agree with you. That's why I think a company like the PBC has moved boxing really out of Las Vegas, and they're basically always fighting in these little arenas around the United States. Barclays Center being one of the biggest ones they're always going back to. So I do agree with you on that the little fights do not make money in Las Vegas, but I cannot agree about the big ones. And I know we only have one a year, possibly two if we're lucky. When Pacquiao and Mayweather were both going, it was like we had two a year. And in those nights, no, you see the fans show up. The place is sold out. The casinos are sold out. It's shoot. You look at the tables, Lee. They're charging $25 a hand on some of these fight nights, and there's people actually playing. It's insane amounts of money that are being given on those type of fights. But yeah, I agree with you on overall boxing is really the fans do not attend some of these small fights. And it used to be like that back in the days. I remember Bob Arum telling us one time when boxing was free, there was only like 3,000 or 4,000 people that attended the Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard fight at Caesar's Palace. Simply because the fight was free, it's too damn hot. It's an outside arena. No one showed up. So it's things like this that even happened back in the days. And the PBC, they seem to be doing all right, at least at the Barclays Center last night. It seemed like there was a lot of fans there. They said, 9,000 showed up for that fight. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I know no one shows up for Andre freaking Ward. I know that.
All right. With that said, this past week, there was my favorite news story of the week, and I can't believe you ran with it. There was talks that Crawford versus Pacquiao was confirmed. Confirmed. Like somebody, like one of the boxing sites actually wrote it. Confirmed. And then on the 27th, Freddie says no. Freddie, no.
Yeah, didn't
Roach
he